Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners with Jim Misiura. Today we're going to tie a bird fur leech. The hook that I have in the vise, this is a size 2 streamer hook. And I'm leaving the barb on this. I'm going to use this for smallmouths and for largemouths. It's going to be a pretty decent size leech. The hook length is about 1.5, 1 3/4 long. I have a large cone head on there. The thread I'm going to use is black, and this is 210. You can use heavier thread on this. I'm going to put a base of thread down, and then I'm going to add some more weight to it. And the reason I'm putting a base of thread down first on this streamer is when you put heavy lead on a hook, especially bigger lead, like I'm going to put on like 30 thousandths, sometimes it has a tendency to turn, and it actually turns the whole body of the fly after it's done. When you put the thread down first, it doesn't do that. I'm going to take the 30 thousandths lead wire, lead-free wire if you are in a lead regulated state, and I'm going to put approximately 12 to 15 turns on there. I'm going to start it about at the point. $19.20. I've got a little bit more than I expected, and I can't, as you can see, I can't push the thread or the lead up, and that is because of the thread underneath. Go ahead and rotate that off, and now we can wrap it and secure that in place. You can put a little bit of head cement on there if you'd like to further secure it. I'm not going to do that. We're going to start off with the tail, and for the tail I'm going to use black ostrich herl. And I really love ostrich herl for streamer type flies. They really, it has a real nice movement in the water. And I'm going to take about 6 or 8 of these fibers. I don't have any small ones, so I have to use these really long ones. But for the streamers, I like to try to get them just around the closer to the size length that I'm going to tie them in. And don't worry about if they're curved like that. Once they get in the water, that'll straighten it right out. So we want to make that tail maybe about 1.5 the length of the body. And you can see I have a lot left here. I'm just going to put them on the side and use them for wrapping. Wrap them when I wrap ostrich herl like Hackle. They'll all be good. Go ahead and trim them off. As you can see, I got some pretty long pieces left here. And like I said, these will be good for making, especially for making the heads on mop flies, or like I like to call them, the crane fly larvae. These will make for a nice head on them. I'm going to go ahead and secure that down. Now you can go ahead and put a little bit of crystal flash in there if you'd like. I have to get to the store and buy some more crystal flash, so I don't have a complementary color for black, so I'm just going to leave it that way. For the body, I'm going to use a black chenille. Take the chenille and pull the fuzz off the end there, and you'll get, you can see there, you can see the threads there. That, you can just tie those threads in, and it won't make such a heavy lump on that section there. And this is very much like a woolly bugger, but we're going to use the large bird fur, whiting bird fur. This actually comes from the silky chickens. You can see the feathers have really long barbels on them, which is nice. It's going to give a nice, lots of movement in this fly. For a long shank like this, I want to get a long feather. You can see here again, that's the barbels, how long they are. I'm going to take away this fluff. There's a very skinny stem also. Has blood stems. Blood stem, as we refer to blood marabou. Blood marabou means the stem is really thin. We're going to tie that on. And I'm going to bring my thread up to the front. Now I'm going to take my chenille, and we're going to use my rotary vise on my Pueblo vise. And we're going to bring that chenille right up to the front. Put a couple extra wraps right in there at that head because the lead didn't go all the way up to hold the head, the bullet head or cone head tight. And we'll trim off that excess. Trim that nice and close. Now I'm going to take the hackle from the bird fur, and you can see how long they are. Going to pull a whole wrap right at the front, and I'm going to stroke things to the rear as I go. You can make some pretty wide palmering when you do this. And I'm stroking it towards the rear as we go. I'm trying to hold the very end of the hackle here because these barbels are so long that you kind of gather everything together. Going to go ahead and try to get my hackle pliers on there and just try to catch the right ones. I'm sure if you tied this on saltwater hooks, I'm sure that this would work in salt water. It has a lot of movement. I'm going to put a couple of wraps right there at the head. just to help secure this, go ahead and tie that down. Just be careful that you don't wrap too many of those fibers into the head or forward. That's why you're always stroking it towards the rear. Going to take that and trim that off. And this bird fur is actually almost longer. Some of the fibers are longer than the tail itself. Like I said, it's going to have a lot of movement. Be a nice, lively looking meal for the fish. Smallmouths, bass, trout. Put a couple of wraps on there. Now I have a little bit of exposed thread there. And you can tie this off now, or I'm going to take a little bit of black dubbing and put some black dubbing on the head there, just to kind of hide the thread wraps. You could use a dubbing of your choice. You can use rabbit, black rabbit fur, and that'll kind of help blend it in. Here I just have some super fine, what was handy. Take my whip finish. Tie that off. Here we have a really nice leech. When that gets wet, especially in the current, everything is going to flow back. It's going to look alive. In lakes and such, when you stop, all of these hackle barbels are going to splay out. And here we have a bird fur leech. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Leave comments, questions, suggestions, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.